Change seems so uncomfortable because it's inevitable. Welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Tar Guidance, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. When you decide to heal yourself, when you decide to become the best version of yourself, you have to realize everything that you were exposed to, everything that you were familiar with, all the people, all the places, all the things that you resonated with is now going to come to an end. And for a lot of people, ends seem chaotic, difficult, and challenging when you are not someone who has been exposed to opportunity, or you have a limited way of life, a way of thinking, or perspective. When you decide to separate yourself from the dysfunction, the confusion, the corruption, and the chaos, you feel uncomfortable because everything you knew is no longer going to resonate with you. It requires you to outgrow certain mindsets, certain behaviors, certain beliefs, and certain patterns. And this can cause you to feel uncomfortable if you're not somebody who is not constantly evolving, or you refuse to change. And if I'm going to be completely honest, it's only difficult for a lot of people when they refuse to make the necessary changes. Now, of course, when you decide to get yourself out of poverty, or you surround yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do, nobody is saying that what you experienced was in vain, or to invalidate your experience or discredit how you feel. But until you're able to realize that it is mandatory in order for you to grow, it seems scary because it's unfamiliar. So when you're not used to doing certain things, it could cause you to feel nervous, it can cause you to feel anxious, and most importantly, it can cause you to feel paranoid because you may not know what to do. You may feel lost or confused. But until you're able to overcome that and accept that you have to let go of things in order to make room for new things, especially if you're praying for them or wanting to experience a new reality, it's going to you feel insecure, doubt yourself, not be confident, and continue to feel stuck and stagnant in the beginning. So these are going to be some recommendations in order for you to overcome those fears and accept that if you want to elevate, if you want to heal, if you want to become the best version of yourself, if you want to let go of toxic behaviors, toxic family members, toxic friends, you have to make the necessary changes, because life is about choices, and you choosing to heal yourself is a choice. So there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself. Always take what resonates, leave the rest. When you decide to grieve, when you're in your season of isolation period, people, places, and things are going to be removed. If you are able to adapt to life, when certain people come and go, you're not going to feel so attached to them, but instead you will realize the purpose of them coming into your life. And I know you don't want to hear it, but that's the God honest truth. We as people, including myself, have to realize the purpose and the lessons on why we're going through the things that we're going through. If you want to live a certain type of life, you have to become equipped. You have to have the knowledge. You have to have the resources. Most of the times you have to have the experience, because if not, how can you receive something if you don't know what to do with it? How would you be able to maintain and sustain a relationship, a job opportunity, if you're not qualified? And I'm not talking about qualified having degrees and materials and monetary. I'm talking about mind, body, soul, and spirit. And if you do believe in God, answers in the universe, you're not going to receive a blessing or have favor if the relationship and the connection is not there. You have to realize that when we decide to get ourselves out of poverty, if we grew up less fortunate or without, we have to know that it requires certain changes. I don't believe in sacrifice. I do believe in obedient. So in order for you to do certain things, you have to learn how to become obedient. You have to learn how to become disciplined. And that's the part that nobody wants to do. And I'm speaking from experience. A lot of people have envy and resentment of people and places and things who are doing the things that they want to do, instead of realizing, what can I do? Because you're not going to have the same 24 hours as everybody else. You're not going to live the same life as everybody else. You're not going to have the same outcome as everybody else. And speaking from experience, nobody is going to help you. If you don't have family, if you don't have friends, if you don't come from that, you are doing this alone. Other than if you, like I said, believe in God, ancestors, the universe. You guys know I'm not here to force religion or spirituality onto you. Like I said, take what resonates, leave the rest. It's up to you to say, you know what, just because I grew up in poverty, just because I grew up without, doesn't mean that I want to continue to live my life like this for myself and for my family and for your kids or whoever you know you're inspiring or affecting. And that if you want to live a certain way, you have to know that, okay, me cutting off certain ways of, thinking, me changing the way I, view money or view finances requires me to grow. And once again, it seems challenging when you know you're supposed to be doing something and you don't do it. And in the end, you end up hurting yourself. So the first thing you have to realize is that it's a responsibility. I created a 30-day consistency challenge playlist talking about what it takes to be consistent as well as successful, because until you decide to commit, until you are able to take every single day for what it is, you're going to feel like you're stuck and stagnant and that you're in the same spot and you're not going to grow. And that's how you become envious and bitter instead of accepting that if people are doing the things that you want to do, it's possible, but you have to put in the work. If you're not willing to work for things in life or they're not handed to you, it's not going to just come out the sky unless it's supernatural. But the only time you receive a supernatural blessing is if you are where you need to be. So as you're realizing that you are healing yourself and you want better, you have to learn how to be gentle to yourself. You have to realize the old version of you, the past version of you, your inner child, she or he needs healing. They need healing. They need comfort. They need guidance. And you have to learn how to take your time. You do not have to rush your life trying to get yourself out of poverty. If you're getting yourself out of poverty by yourself and you're the first person in your family to experience wealth or financial literacy, you have to learn how to take every single day for what it is. You cannot compare yourself to anybody, and you should only be surrounding yourself with people who want to help you or who have the resources to show you and educate you. If people are not going to finance you, if people are not going to pour into you, if people are not going to support you, you have to be able to create distance with these people, and you have to be okay with that. You cannot allow certain people, places, and things to project what they know and who they are onto you if it's not contributing into your life. So if you have to create boundaries, and separation from close ones and loved ones, do that. If you physically have to relocate, do that. If you have to go no contact, do that. Your life matters. You're the only person who feels some type of way when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So as you're learning to be gentle, as you're deciding if this is what you want to do or not, and as you guys are watching those videos and understanding the responsibilities, the second thing you have to do is learn how to be practical by being present. Because there are only 24 hours in a day and you don't have the same resources as everybody else, you're going to go through withdrawals. You have to realize that when you decide to cut off certain family members, when you decide to go to the gym and you got to cut off certain foods, you're going to go through withdrawals. So withdrawals is like when you've been addicted to certain supplements or certain foods and then all of a sudden you stop. You're going to start to fiend. You're going to, oh my gosh, you're going to have moments, episodes where you're like, I can't do this. And you'll try to contact those people, or you'll start to use the substance that you used to. You have to learn how to discipline yourself. And when you learn how to discipline yourself in the beginning, yes, like I said, it does seem difficult if you're stubborn or if you're hard-headed or you may be afraid, but over time, as you practice, as you continue to show up for yourself, you will gain the momentum that you need in order for you to receive the things that you want. Until you learn how to be disciplined, until you learn how to stay in your boundaries, you are constantly going to go back and forth. And that's what the withdrawals are. If you're used to drinking strawberry lemonades and you're supposed to be on a water diet, there's nothing wrong with you celebrating and having moderation, but it's like, at least complete your goal first and then you could celebrate. Because I'm not the type of person to tell you to cut off something completely unless it's extremely unhealthy for you. So like if you're used to drinking strawberry lemonades and you have a goal to stop drinking strawberry lemonades, let's just say for 3 months, don't drink the strawberry lemonade for 3 months. And then after the 3 months, if you want to, taste it, but by that time, a lot of the times, depending on what it is that we're going after, we may not even want it again. And that's the same thing with the people, places, and things in our life. If you grew up in poverty and you decide to get you a nice job and you go back to school, or you build your finances and you're around people who are okay with living a certain financial life, when you separate yourself from them and you get back around them, you may not even resonate with them no more, and that's okay. So the third thing is you have to be okay with the choices that you make. Like, you can't feel guilty. You have to know that you are learning information that's brand new by yourself, if you don't have the resources and the tools and the guidance and the support. You have to realize that it takes a lot more energy and effort to do things alone than it does when you have the support and the family and the friends. So if you have people that are willing to support you and help you, make sure they're holding you accountable. Make sure you're holding them accountable. If not, it's okay to do things that you want to do because you're your own person. Like, you have to let go of the attachment issues. You have to let go of the dependency issues. And same thing with the certain people, places, and things. Like, nobody's going to be mad at you because you want better for yourself. Nobody who is broke or poor in spirit who wants you to do well is gonna feel any type of way. The only people who end up being envious or jealous of you are not happy for you because you want to heal yourself from trauma, you want to get yourself out of poverty or whatever it is, are the people who never meant you any well in the first place. And you have to realize that you are gonna outgrow certain people. Like, it doesn't have to be beef. You know what you did, they know what they did. You just have to continue to move forward. And if anything, if it gets to the point, block them. Like, you don't have to rekindle relationships with people, and just because you follow with them doesn't mean it has to be negative. Like, this is life. You only get to live this life in this body one time. Like, so it's like, when you're making choices in your life, it's really important that when you're in your isolation period, you're going through the withdrawals, like you're grieving, like you could be sad, you could be mad. Like, the whole purpose of your isolation season, is for you to evaluate and to reflect everything that you learned from your past, so you know moving forward what you need to do and what you don't need to do in the future. Most importantly, once you stop making excuses, once you start to educate yourself, you will realize everything is required. Like, every single day of your life matters. And yes, even though you may not be able to see it in the moment, every single day is going to lead up to the moment that you receive the blessings and the manifestations because you work towards them. Like I said, things are not handed to you in life. You have to work for them, and you have to be okay with that. Learning to be disciplined is literally like learning how to do chores or learning a skill. But until you realize that you're choosing to do this skill, it won't seem challenging. So it's like, before you say you want a new car, or to get yourself out of poverty or to experience a certain lifestyle, you need to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the work? Because a lot of times we say we want certain things and we don't realize the responsibilities that come with them. And it's like, if you're not excited, if you're genuinely not passionate, you don't have to do it. You don't have to rush. This is why it's really important that when you decide to do something, do it when you have the time and when you want to do it. Like I said, you could be uncomfortable, you could be scared, but it's like, you have to make a decision. Do I want to heal? Do I want to become elevated? Do I want to be a content creator? Do I want to start a business? Do I want to lose weight? Like, do I want to be in healthy relationships? Or am I okay with where you are? If you're okay with where you are, that's cool. If not, you can only be upset with yourself, because at a certain time in our life, we have to learn how to be accountable. Like, everybody has a sad story. All of us have gone through trials and tribulations. All of us have suffered in some type of way. It's not to compare or contrast. Some of us do suffer more than others, but it's like, what are you going to do about it? If you see that everybody else grew up in dysfunction and chaos, like your family members, your friends in your community, and you no longer want to surround yourself with them, how are they going to help you if they're not even accountable for themselves? You have to learn to stop feeling sad for yourself, and you have to learn how to choose yourself. You have to learn that you are all you have at the end of the day, other than God, the answers to the universe. And you literally just have to make a decision. Once you make the decision that you're going to commit to yourself, that you're going to heal yourself, you are going to go through a lot of emotions, and it is going to be uncomfortable because, like I said, you're unlearning a certain way of living for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, like unlearning trauma, unlearning a certain way of life, unlearning perspectives, unlearning certain habits, like, and learning to do things. It is a skill, and most importantly, it is the process that is where you become equipped and knowledgeable. So therefore, when you get to where you need to be, you're able to sustain and maintain the things that you're asking for. Most importantly, the more you discipline yourself, the more you create a schedule and a routine that works for you, the more you don't have to feel rushed and overwhelmed, and accept that every single day matters, and as long as you're doing something, you're going to get to where you need to be. So if you guys have questions, comments, and concerns, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting down below and turning your post notifications. And if you watch the video all the way to the end, let me know what you guys want to talk about in the comment section. And don't be afraid, don't be shy. Like, I appreciate you guys for watching, but don't be afraid to engage. Like, you're choosing to watch these videos, your life is very important. What you focus on grows. As well as follow me on all social media platforms. DMs. All my information will be down in the description box below. And if you're interested in a service or a session, head to my website at TyGuidanceDecember.com.